Steelers players took a team vote and decided to wait in the tunnel during the national anthem on Sunday, but offensive lineman Alejandro Villanueva chose to stand outside the tunnel away from his team with his hand over his heart during the anthem. Villanueva is a former Army Ranger and served in Afghanistan. ESPN reported some Steelers players were surprised by the move. Yesterday, Villanueva said there was a miscommunication and added, quote, "I made my teammates look bad and that is my fault and my fault only." Ben Roethlisberger had his own regrets about the Steelers' decision, saying, "I was unable to sleep last night and want to share my thoughts and feelings on our team's decision to remain in the tunnel for the national anthem yesterday. The idea was to be unified as a team when so much attention is paid to things dividing our country, but I wish we approached it differently. We did not want to appear divided on the sideline with some standing and some kneeling or sitting. As a team, it was not a protest of the flag or the anthem. I personally don't believe the anthem is ever the time to make any type of protest. Moving forward, I hope standing for the anthem shows solidarity as a nation, that we stand united in respect for the people on the front lines protecting our freedom and keeping us safe." Shannon, what did this tell you?
We got a lot going on here, Skip. And let me try to take Mr. Villanueva first, who bravely served 3 tours, I think, in Afghanistan as an Army Ranger. I think he was a Ranger.
Leader of a rifle platoon. Got a Medal of Honor.
He is to be commended for his service. Skip, I don't have a problem with him standing for the national anthem. My thought is that this is what we discussed as a team. If, like I said, if we say we're going to wear fatigues, don't somebody show up with khakis, because this is what we discussed as a team. In the military, there's protocol. You don't get to say, well, I've got 7 years of this and you only got 3 years, so we're going to do it our way. When the commander speaks, we follow in line. So whatever Mike Tomlin and the leaders said, I thought that was going to be it. I don't get to miss curfew and say, well, guys, I didn't want to miss curfew. Yes, you did. That was your intention. So if he says it was, you know, he got sideswiped, you know, he's coming out and people was coming in, okay. But I want to talk about Ben. Ben says, again, he talked about the anthem. Ben says he couldn't sleep. Ben, I got some phone numbers. I want you to call Tamir Rice. I want you to call Philando Castillo. I want you to call Freddie Gray. Mom. They can't sleep. So you couldn't sleep that last night. Freddie Gray mom hadn't slept in a year. Tamir Rice mom hadn't slept in 3 years. See, Ben, you get afforded luxuries that a lot of black men in this country don't get afforded. And he's having regrets, or he had second thoughts. Skip, can you imagine if one of his teammates to say, you know what, I had second thoughts about showing my support for Ben about what transpired in Georgia. Oh, my.
That's a good point.
Skip, that's what he just did.
Yep.
That's what he just did. See, the protest was never about the anthem. Someone had a great quote on social media yesterday. They say, Skip, do they actually think Rosa Parks was boycotting the transportation, public transportation? Or was she or was she trying to draw attention that why should I have to go to the back of the bus when this, the Constitution and the flag say we're all to be treated equal? She wasn't boycotting public transportation.
That's pretty obvious. Yeah.
Dr. King didn't order sit-ins because the food was terrible. He was trying to get equal service for as being a citizen of the United States. We keep talking about the flag. We keep talking about the anthem. And even President Trump has interjected himself. And now he's become a part of the equation. And we're still not talking about the real issues that blacks, a lot of these blacks were kneeling for to begin with. That's what they're trying to draw attention to. And then Art Rooney II says, you know, he didn't want to get involved in politics. Skip. His dad, Mr. Dan Rooney, was an ambassador to Ireland, whose dad founded the Pittsburgh Steelers, who he was the owner, and he was running it for his dad. So the Pittsburgh Steelers have always been involved in politics. Now, what we're starting to see, Skip, is that what they thought would be a good gesture, where they would unite, they were uniting against President Trump because he called some of their players SOBs, and he was challenging the billionaires, their authority. You should fire them. And he was going to affect their bottom line, which is money. But when they got the booze, now everybody's trying to walk it back. Ben Roethlisberger is moonwalking. Art Rooney II is moonwalking. We've got a lot of these owners moonwalking, Skip, because they've gotten the blowback, even though they thought they were doing something positive. Because, again, well, you know, we don't want to seem disrespectful to the anthem. Nobody's kneeling in protest for the anthem. If you're going to kneel, why even come out? It's not about the anthem. Colin told you when he was sitting down, Skip, and people were like, well, Colin, when the national anthem was playing, why were you sitting down? Well, I'm sitting down because the unarmed black men and women that's getting killed in America, the injustices, the inequality that I see in America is not right. So that's what I'm protesting. He told you what it was. He said it's not about the veterans. He said that of his own mouth, Skip. He said it's not about the veterans. It's not about the military. It's not about the flag. I'm telling you what I'm doing. He said, you know what? Y'all think that's disrespectful, me sitting? I'm going to take a knee. That's what he did. But what we're seeing, that's not good enough. Peaceful protest isn't good enough. We want you silenced. And we're going to keep trying to hush you. We're going to keep trying to sweep it up under the rug. And eventually we hope it'll go away. Sometimes we tell you if you don't like America and what's going on, you move away. Well, it's bursting at the seams, Skip. It's like a landfill. You can only put so much trash in and cover it up before what? You got to find a new place. Well, all these holes that you try to sweep racism under and to try to make me think that it didn't exist because Shannon Sharpe and a few other black people make millions of dollars. No, it's the millionaires like Shannon Sharpe and these other and LeBron James that's speaking for the penniless. If you saw when Jordan Sparks was reading, when she was singing the national anthem, what she had on the hand that you could see. Yeah, that wasn't an accident. Skip, it's alive and well. I wish people could see it and see past the flag and the anthem.
Okay, just for the record, are you suggesting that Ben, with his statement, Ben Roethlisberger, revealed some racist tendencies?
I don't think I just think that the blowback that he got gave him to pause. And he's trying to walk back. Well, that wasn't my idea. That's not really what I wanted to do.
Was he being, in your view, blindly patriotic?
He was being blindly Ben Roethlisberger, and the masses had gotten upset with him. And I'm sure he got something on Twitter because it's being reported that a volunteer fire chief just got fired in Pittsburgh for posting on his Facebook called Mike Tomlin a no good end with the ER at the end. So we know it's alive and well and kicking. Skip, I just think that Ben is having, because of the blowback is so great, and what he thought he was standing up for, which is to show solidarity with the blacks against President Trump, his teammates against President Trump, even that wasn't good enough. So he's like, man, I can't sleep at night.
And by the way, to my point that I keep telling you, Pittsburgh is in a what color state? Just for the record. Just want to get that.
It's supposed to be
that out there. Okay, it's supposed to be blue, but that's a red thing, right? In your view. Okay. Now, back to the Steelers. This is all very confusing to me.
Very.
But the bottom line is, this was a divided football team Sunday at kickoff.
Yes.
It just was.
Yep.
And did that manifest itself in a lack of focus against the Chicago Bears that had just lost 29-7 at Tampa? They gave up. Pittsburgh did 220 yards rushing and lost to the Bears. Yeah. Did that have something to do with the mindset, the lack of focus? I don't know. Maybe. Because now Villanueva is saying that he talked to both Ben and to Casey
Hayward.
Is that Casey Hayward?
Yeah, Casey Hayward.
Yeah. And the two captains gave him, first he said they gave him permission to stand alone. But then he said, I didn't mean to stand alone. And I'm like,
now you see why I'm confused as you are. Because he said once he got caught up, Skip, that people were coming out, and he didn't realize his teammates were so far back.
Right. And then he stood outside the tunnel, and then he said it was too late, and all of a sudden the anthem has started, so he just stopped and put his hand over his heart. Okay, got it. But yesterday I applauded Mike Tomlin for taking over his football team and coming to a unified decision that doesn't appear that unified now.
No.
And the point I missed yesterday was, it is now a little disconcerting that Mike Tomlin and his assistant coaches decided to go out and stand through the anthem on the sideline as always.
Right.
Okay, well, that's separating coaching staff from team. I don't love that either.
Skip, for me, as being a leader, we're not going to discuss anything Saturday and Sunday because we're going to have this ironed out on Friday. What we, as a team, whatever we decide, Skip, I can live with it. But we're going to do it as a team. It's not going to be two guys standing. It's not going to be 15 guys kneeling. It's not going to be the coaches. So whatever we decide as a team.
The remarks were made in Huntsville on Friday
Right.
night, or
Right.
that's when we first heard
Right.
about it.
Or before we board the plane,
Yes.
I believe the Steelers left Saturday.
Yep.
So they had a Saturday meeting that morning. So before that Saturday afternoon, we're going to discuss what we're going to do as a team.
Got it.
So whatever we decide, Skip, I can live with it. I might not agree with it, but if the majority say, Shannon, we're going out and we're going to stand, that's what we're going to do.
And they had no majority, I guess. And now I'm with you. I don't love it that Ben walked it back. It looks bad. It comes across wrong. They were completely ununited.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes. I mean, and Villanueva said, I didn't want to be alone, but then I was alone, and they told me I could go do it because they're looking. And then the coaches on the sideline.
Yeah.
Look, I don't want to minimize what Chicago did because Chicago played very well. But Skip, there's a lot going on here, and like Mike Thomas says, this is not the reason we lost, but it gives you a glimpse is that we all need to be on the same accord.
Okay. So whether you liked it or dismissed what the Cowboys did last night, at least you got to give them this much. They were together on it. I'm pretty sure. It looked like it to me. I didn't hear anything after the game.
It should have been whatever Mike Tomlin decided.
Yes.
Let's ride with that. Because when you get 53 guys from different walks of life, and somebody dad was in the military, somebody served in the military, you're going to get a difference of opinion. Mike Tomlin is the voice. So whatever he decides, I'm going to ride with whatever he says.
Yeah, it's Cameron Hayward.
Cameron.
Yes.
Casey plays with the Chargers.
Yeah, and this is exactly why you don't get involved in things that your heart is not in. Because everyone's trying to play the fence, and I'm right down the middle. I feel this way, but I understand this side.
When you're on the fence, guess what happens? When the people you keep jumping because you keep jumping on the side that you're trying to please. So you hop up on the fence, and this side is mad at you. I'm going over here. Well, they mad. I got to come back over here.
If it's not in your heart, don't get involved.
Nope.
Are the Cowboys the team to beat in the NFC East after last night's win? We'll discuss that with Greg Jennings next.